since we've left on Thursday night,
right.
There's been a lot of stuff happening. U.S. actively got involved in Iran. And we kind of went over and did a little bitch slap, and said, hey, we really wanted you at the table. Stop using that, because I think Iran's trying to use the media against the U.S., and I think the U.S. really does want them at the table to talk about this. And because things fell apart right after Iran said, oh, we're going to pull out of this nuclear agreement thing. Well, and that's when the things really hit the fan.
Okay, let's go back historically, and this is just contextual. Trump pulled out of the nuclear agreement in his first term. So there was a pathway to diplomacy, and he said, yeah, screw you, we're not talking to you. And it evolved from there to get us to where we are today. Trying to get back to the table. So should we go back to 79
if we're going back that far?
Keep going. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you want to dig deep, and why he did some of the things is because they can't be trusted.
Understandable.
But
it makes us wonder, can we?
Iran is continually said death to Israel and death to the United States. You know, and they're going to continue to say
it's the hugest sign he's ever seen in the world. So it's hyperbole.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that they're vociferously trying to destroy Israel, who is in proximity there. But, they haven't done anything to try to, I mean, if they had the opportunity, I'm sure they would, but it's kind of weird. No, I don't have a major problem with that. And I'm kind of impressed by the fact that, he said, oh, we'll wait 2 weeks. We'll wait 2 weeks and we'll see what happens. We'll talk about it.
5 days.
And then 15 minutes later, he said, oops.
He gave him 5 days.
I know.
He gave him 5 days.
Hey, you know what?
And if you can't make up your mind in 5 days, sorry.
Well, I think they were trying to come back, but it was impressive subterfuge.
No, they were not. They said they were. This is the whole the CNN buy-in from Iran, because they do this crap as good as anybody, and then they put it on the internet, and then they do a really nice job with that. But they weren't coming back with any. They wanted to pick the fight. They wanted to be the victim, and because you know who wins in these conflicts like this? The losing side.
Well,
think about all losing sides. They end up doing pretty good. Think about where's Japan right now.
Well,
where's Germany right now?
You ever read a book called The Mouse That Roared?
No.
Fabulous.
It sounds like me as a child.
It's a paperback that you'll knock off in a good afternoon sitting on the beach or on your porch.
Yeah, I don't do either one of those.
It's about
I sit on the porch, but I'm watching sports.
Okay, well,
yeah.
It's about this country that had that figured out. It's a fictional country somewhere over in Europe, and they were on the balls of their ass, and they picked a fight with the United States. And they had 6 people in their army.
Yeah.
The United States, and they said, and the entire
now you have to rebuild us.
And the entire plan was to get rebuilt. And there's a book. It's called The Mouse That Roared.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to go back in unless there's, now the new term is regime change. Unless there's regime change, I don't think we're going in and doing a damn thing in Iraq and in Iran. And by that same token, I come back to the same thing. You've got very rich Arab partners around there. Why aren't they ponying it up? Why aren't they in there? Why aren't they protecting their asses?
Well, no, they're looking at the United States to say, hey, we saw what you did. And that was part of it, too, from the U.S.'s side. All right? We launched planes from Missouri.
That was impressive. They refilled like 3 times.
Refilled 3 times.
That was a freaking long. Yeah, that impressed me very much.
One way.
Yeah.
There's a bedroom.
Your ass falls asleep on 6.
There's a bedroom in those B-2s or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I mean, in those stealth bombers.
Yeah.
And they put it.
And a kitchen.
They hit a target like the size of like a storm cover. Like it was like this big, the size of the top of a barrel.
What was it? Like a Womp Rat or whatever it is that Luke was able to get right in there on the Death Star?
Exactly. Pull up.
Right.
But I mean, the thing is the U.S., Iran's supposed to be this big power. U.S. went in, dropped everything. Iran never got a shot off.
Correct. Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Iran went to Qatar today, said they shot 14 missiles.
Yeah.
13 of them were hit, and the other one hit something insignificant.
An empty space.
And then Iran, because they're playing that, what did you call it? The mouse that
roared.
The mouse that roared.
Yeah, they're not going to win that
one.
They're
playing the mouse that roared right now. They're like, hey,
right.
We're not looking for a fight.
Right.
We just sent the exact same missile bombs you sent to us in a non-populated area. You know, it is kind of like, well, we knew they were going to get shot down, but, you know, so immediately they gave a response like, hey, we're not looking for a fight.
Right. Well, that's what we were talking about before. You know, they dropped the same number of missiles of the number of bombs that we dropped, and I get a kick out of the fact that we were talking about this a little bit earlier of the proportional response.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody blows up something, and then we go up and blow up a bunch of desert tents that were a terrorist training organization. You know, it's just annoying. If you're gonna stop somebody, stop them.
Mm-hmm.
But this namby-pamby, okay, so we're gonna slap you, you're gonna slap us, doesn't accomplish anything. It just prolongs it.
Iran didn't want to slap.
No.
They wanted to just go, okay, we're just doing this so our people aren't mad at us.
Right. And they are. Yeah.
That was the kind of, you know, so at their own regime, you know. So, and that was the kind of message I took today's attack on. Yeah. I'll see if there's other, because if Iran takes it beyond this and does some other sneak attacks or some other, I think.
Well, cyber's the question that people are concerned about mostly. They're pretty good on cyber disturbances, and they're tougher to follow back to where they're coming from. But if anything happens, like if power grids start going down, you know, people are going to start looking at Iran.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean it's an opening for China, Russia, or anybody else, or just bad hats.
I was driving here, you know, and you know, it was about 4:30. You know, it's starting to get a little busy, and some people are leaving from Grumman, and we're on our way out here. I was driving here, and I was like, you know what really screw up the United States is if they made every traffic light green at one time. Yeah. Just immediately, like at 4:28, all over the United States, every traffic light's green. You know what that would do to L.A., New York, Chicago, any major city? Yeah. It'd be bad enough here. We have our own traffic issues, but imagine what it does to D.C. at that point. I mean,
it stands still, and you know, and what it would the drain on your emergency services for the accidents that would involve injuries. Forget it, no doubt about it.
And Josh also said that Iran also said, "Hey, we're going to do this."
Right.
You know, hey, just be prepared. We're doing this.
Right.
So they got it.
Yeah. Well, you know, the interesting thing is what's Qatar's response to this? Because, you know, it was an American airbase in Qatar, but Qatar is another independent country. You know, you're talking about sovereignty. They
sent an apology directly to Qatar.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find that. But they sent a letter, you know, our brotherhood of Qatar, you know, we purposely kept it away from civilians, and it was targeted towards this.
The airbase,
You know, and so, I mean, Iran definitely sent an apology letter to Qatar immediately, maybe even before.
Right.
You know, so
just when you hear something go boom, we're apologizing in advance.
Yeah, in case you hear that sizzle,
right?
You know, that's us around the corner,
right?
You know, so and evidently it's like where they attacked is like 40 miles from like the capital,
Doha.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm confused because I thought I read this the earlier this afternoon that Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, and I don't know if that's accurate.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. That is one of the things that's being threatened out there.
Okay.
All right. I had it up on I was trying to find it. I was going to read what they said. It was like, hey, Qatar, we're not attacking you.
Right.
And
your guests.
Yeah.
We don't like you. We don't like your house guests.
Yeah.
Right.
And the UAE. Yeah. I mean, they're kind of in shutdown mode. I mean, there's a lot of places in that area that are kind of in shutdown mode,
and you know what? And you got the big kahuna there that, you know, what the hell is Saudi Arabia doing? Mm-hmm. They got more money than any other country there. They've got a reasonable number of people, but they've got more open land and desert that who the hell knows what's buried in that desert area. Yeah. God forbid. Mm-hmm. We've sent them more armaments, more jets, more sophisticated weaponry. You know, Saudi Arabia is probably one of the best armed militaries in the entire region.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I can tell you, I did a tour of Grumman like 15 years ago, and we were selling planes to them. One of the AWACS, older AWACS planes or whatever it was, you know, that flies up and kind of can read everything for, you know, 5,000 miles around it. But you know, they were working on this one, and I was like, hey, where's this one going? I was like, oh, this one's going to Saudi Arabia. I was like, hey, you have anything that's going to the U.S.? You can't see those.
So if they get the old models, we get the new ones. They can 100%. That's like, last year's model. You can have that one.
And I said, how many models are the rest? Because there was another one that was being built for France. I was like, how many models are we ahead of them? And they went, we don't know. Several.
Right.
We're like,
Right.
I mean, they're talking like not just 2 or 3. We're talking like 6 or 7 models ahead.
Well, that would help.
So,
because I know we keep sending Saudi Arabia next generation fighters, and Saudi Arabia, to the best of my understanding, has a pretty talented air force because we've trained them.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Blake.
But yeah, but the one thing I want to point out about Saudi Arabia right now, like especially for me, is because WWE is actually having an event like this Friday and Saturday in Riyadh. Saudi
Who is? Did you say WWE?
Yes.
Oh goodness.
So they actually have like they already sent some preliminary setup crew in Qatar right now, and they're stuck in Qatar right now because they shut down the airspace through there, and then of course it's like should WWE still be going to the Middle East at this point right now?
All right, that's a creepy picture you got over your shoulder, Dick Cheney.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I love his
it's like
background art.
It's like he's in the duck blind with him.
Be careful, man.
Yeah.
All right, so now Blake, as our resident WWE expert, do they have a heel or a hero known as the Sheik these days? Because there used to be a
Iron
Sheik.
Yeah. No.
Because how would he play? How would he play over in the sandbox?
He unfortunately died in like 2022. So.
And nobody took the role and put on the big turban.
It's probably not wise.
Put on the robes.
It's probably not wise to do that anymore.
Not here.
That's not wise to do that. But
He'd be a heel.
You might be, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, I know it's like highly unlikely that they'll directly target like U.S. civilians that might be performing in Saudi Arabia, but just like the threat of that, but just like the existence, like knowing like, oh, Iran could just destroy an entire company and kill U.S. citizens just to get a message, and like, what's the biggest place to do that?
They're not going to do that.
I know it's highly unlikely.
And I would think
that's an unrealistic thing that they're not going to.
Right, and Saudi Arabia
they'll have the whole state of Alabama after them, and no one wants that.
and Saudi Arabia is, virtually a police state to a large degree. So to try to accomplish something like that in Saudi Arabia, it doesn't happen.
They're not going in Saudi Arabia.
So.
Yeah,
you got a lot of people walking around without hands in Saudi Arabia because they tried to steal a cookie.
Yeah,
there's severity there.
Yeah, Amanda said, "Be careful, Blake, about Dick Cheney in there with you." Right. All right. Let's go to a couple other topics because we do have some other topics to talk about because this one's going to be a topic.
Keep going for a while.
It's going to be a topic all week long.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, you guys are going to catch some of those updates in our.
It's going to be interesting to see what Congress does now.
All right.